Greetings. How may I assist you who honor my presence, Great One?
Only by listening, War Chief. Truly listening.
Old Bold Kauthar went ahead and told Thrall of his vision from Chapter 1, of the water funnel sucking up time, of the voices and their warnings, of the wrongness he'd felt with it all, and finally, he told Thrall of what he feared would happen if the situation was left unchecked. And once he was finished, Thrall paced backwards and forwards a bit, taking a moment to consider it all.
It smells of magic. Big magic. Something for wizards, maybe.
They may know already, but we cannot afford to wait for them, Great War Chief.
You would have me send someone to this place you saw?
It would seem most prudent, at least so we know what we face.
Right. I think I may know who. A good warrior.
Thrall then turned to address some guards.
Brox. Get me Brox.
Meanwhile, after several more hours of flying, Ronin and Corielstraz were now soaring above the landmass that is Kalimdor. Ronin had noticed that his dragon companion was flying with much more urgency since reaching the continent. What he didn't know, though, was that Corielstraz had attempted, and failed, to contact Nosdormu multiple times. But all they could do now was press on. Soon enough they would arrive, and find out for themselves what distressed the aspect of time so much. However, down below...
A dragon. A red one. With a rider. Is it one of us, Brox? An orc?
Broxigar snorted. His companion was far too young to know anything about orcish dragon riders. He'd likely only ever heard stories of the Second War, and therefore had a pretty romanticised view of the whole thing. Brox, on the other hand, was a veteran of all three wars, his actions in the third one being particularly notable. He'd pretty much single-handedly held a vital mountain pass against hordes of demons. By the time orcish reinforcements arrived, he was the only survivor, standing there alone, scarred and covered in blood, like a vision out of the old tales of his race.
Don't be a fool. The only way a dragon would carry an orc these days would be in his belly. Whoever they are, they're headed for the same place as us. How'd you know that? Where else would they be going here?
The other orc, named Gaskell, went silent, mainly because he couldn't think of any argument against that, whilst Brox considered their next move, with a grim smile forming across his face. What Thrall had not known about this war hero when summoning him to aid in this quest was that Brox suffered from terrible guilt. Guilt that had eaten at his soul ever since the day in that mountain pass.
Come on. Let's get a move on. We can reach them before they get settled in. And if they give us any trouble, we'll make them think the entire horde's on the rampage again.
As the dragon descended, Ronin surveyed the land. This region seemed a dire place indeed, but there was something else the wizard could sense. Sensations flowed into the wizard that just felt completely and utterly wrong, as if the very fabric of reality had made some kind of terrible error. Corielstraz then landed, and Ronin dismounted. However, the wizard's legs kinda gave way, and he fell flat on his face.
Are you alright? I'm fine. That was a long journey. Forgot how to use my legs for a moment.
Ronin then did a few stretches and squats, whilst Corielstraz strode off to scout the area a bit. And after a few moments, Krasus appeared, in his not-dragon form.
There were several unstable areas nearby. This form was less likely to cause them to collapse. I can always transform back if necessary. Did you find anything? I sense the aspect of time. He's here and yet he's not. And that disturbs me. Should we start?
What the shit?
Let's move on. Our goal's not far. Are we not flying? Whatever we seek lies within a narrow passage between the next mountains. The dragon would not fit.
So, with Krasus leading the way, the pair head northeast, and soon enough, they came upon the passage that Krasus had mentioned. 'Twas narrow indeed. One would be forgiven for thinking it was some kind of video game loading gate.
Are we nearly there yet? Soon. It lies only... What? It's not exactly where it should be anymore. It moved? That would be my assumption. Is it supposed to do that? You are under the misconception that I know perfectly what to expect, Ronin. I know little more than you do. Great. So what do you suggest we do then? We go on. It's all we can do.
However, upon going on a bit further, the pair then came across a new and different complication. The path ahead of them split into two.
Let me guess. You don't know which path we should take. They each run near to our goal, but I cannot sense which lies closer. We need to investigate both. So we split up then? I would prefer not to, but we must. We each journey 500 paces in, then turn back and meet here. Hopefully that will give us a better sense of things.
And so, Ronin took the corridor to the left and followed Krasus' instructions, counting off each pace as he went. But to be honest, he'd barely taken any steps at all before his confidence that this was the right way started to grow. His senses may not have been as acute as Krasus', but there was definitely an ever-increasing disturbance lying further down this path. The wrongness he sensed was getting stronger. And after a few more steps, something else caught Ronin's attention. Something ahead was moving. And not just that, it was moving towards him. Rapidly. Ronin felt it before he saw it. First he felt old, and then young, and then old again. And understandably, the wizard hesitated, because that was a weird sensation. But as an absolute barrage of colour and sound then came whirling round a corner towards him... Nope. However, a terrible howl then echoed through the passage, and a massive 8-legged wolf then dropped down ahead of Ronin, blocking his escape. What the shit?
Ronin! The anomaly is expanding. It's almost upon you.
Ronin glanced behind himself, and his eyes immediately widened. Some kind of wobbly distortion was drawing nearer and nearer, and beyond it, the landscape was different.
I will not reach you in time, but don't worry. I'm linked to you. Cast a spell of teleportation. I'll guide you to me.
So, Ronin focused, picturing Krasus in his mind, and the spell began to form. However, the wobbly time anomaly expanded immediately, reacting to the spell work.
Krasus! Break the link! Break it before... Ronin! Ronin! Balls!